Alright, Chapter 21, Rehabilitation Renewal with the Track. The dynamic impact of the running train coupled with the heavy wear with the tear of the track that becomes necessary to rehabilitate, renew with the track periodically, ensure the continuous safe efficiency, heavy track renewal to carry out the Indian Railways every year to keep the track safe with the cutting running conditions, as well as to bring down the cost of maintenance as much as possible. The cost of the track renewal to carry out with the Indian Railways run in several thousand million. These track renewals consist of the complete track renewal, thorough sleep renewal through rail renewal, 200 to 3,000 kilometers track renewal due annually. The track renewal, the cost per proposal formulated with the law of deliberation while the synchronized various administrative levels before they are finalized, including annual work of the programs. Generally, these heavy backlog track renewal, the work account of the shortage permanent with the material, the lack of adequate funding with the track renewal of the programs, retaining the surface overage track that not only leads to an increased cost of maintenance, but all affects the safety, fluidity of the movement of the traffic due to the delay of the track renewals. Incident of the rail frame fractures have been progressively increasing along track with the tracks have been placed under the speed of the restrictions ongoing the backlog with track renewals. Indian Railways undertaking the massive program of the track rehabilitation part of the current plan. Backlog track renewal will be complete clear to the new fewer years. 21.1 Classification track renewal works. Track renewal works are broadly classified under the complete track renewal that implies the renewal of all the components of the track over the particular length of the necessary coupling of the recouplement of the ballast and provision of full ballast cushion is also done along with a complete track renewal CTR. Through rail renewal or TRR involves the renewal of all the rails between one over the point of the end and the next. Through thorough sleep renewal, they entails the renewal of the entire sleeper from one point to another. The necessary recouplement of the ballast and provision of full ballast cushion also done with the thorough sleep renewals. Casual renewal implies replacement and supply of some of the unserviceable rails, sleep with the serviceable rails, release rail sleepers, and similar type of the age. Primary renewal is referred to the renewals that are done using the new permanent way materials. The second renewal refers to renewals that are done using release serviceable permanent way material. 21.2 Current criteria of the rail renewal. The renewal reasons for rail renewal can be felt because of any of the following reasons: incident with the rail fracture failure, wear of the rails, maintaining track with the prescribed standards, shortened surface of a life plan based renewal of the criteria based on the detailed subsequent factors. 21.2.1 Incident of the rail fractures and failures. Since the factor of the direct vital bearing with a safety track with a should be track precedence over the factor of deciding the rail renewal is to be carried out. Spate of the rail fracture failures, particular length of the track, may be necessary for the rail renewal. In such case, the ultrasonic testing of the rail should be carried out with the result of synchronize the section considered with the rail renewal only if the rail factor is higher than particular section 4% in a year or 10% overall. 21.2.2 Wear of the rails. Rail renewals may also be necessary because of the excessive wear. The wear can also be various types of the resulting following. Limited loss of section rail renewal can also be called the wave of the loss of the rail wave of the section exceeded the prescribed limit of the table 221.1. In such case, the rails shall be tested frequently using ultrasonic rail flow detectors because the such rails are more prone to the rail failures. The lost wave of the cassette, either directly measuring this actual wave of the empirical measuring the horizontal and vertical wear of the rail. 21.1 Limiting loss of the wheel rails. Broad gauge rail section 52 kilogram meters 6.6%, 90 R 5%, meter gauge 75 R 4.20%, 60 R 3.25%. Wear due to corrosion. Rail getting corroded during the varies whether an atmospheric condition but the chemical reaction take place if the materials come into contact with the rail metal, thereby resulting in wear. Such wear is a prominent in the coastal areas. Corrosion beyond 1.5 meters of the web foot with the feature of the rail is specified as criterion of the rail renewal due to the corrosion. Vertical wear. Figure 21.1 covers the reduction of depth of the rail head with the point beyond where the risk of the wheel flange gazing of the fish place rails should be renewed. The limits of vertical wearing of the different rail sections given in table 21.2. 21.1 shows the vertical wear, centerline gauge face, new profile, worn out profile, 25-degree vertical wear. Lateral wear is measured with a distance of 13 to 15 millimeters below the top of the rail table. The profile of the worn out with the cord with the superimposed over the new profile to determine the lateral well where the excessive lateral well with the lateral hunting of the vehicles resulting in the uncontrollable ride. The condition will manifest itself on a higher average ride index during oscillographic car runs. When it becomes uneconomical to maintain such a track through the rail renewal becomes the crucial the permissible limits of the lateral wear various conditions of the rails presented in the table 21.3. 21.2, the limited vertical wear, 60 kilogram meter, 13 millimeters, 52 kilogram meters, 8 millimeters, 8 millimeters, 90R, rail section 90R, 6 millimeters, meter gauge 75R meters, 4 millimeters, 60R, 38 millimeters. Alright, figure 21.2 show the lateral wear wedge measure from 13 to 15 millimeters below the round table. The lateral wear, new profile, worn out profile. Permissible limits of the wear curves, broad gauge group A and B to 8 millimeters, broad gauge group C and D 10 millimeters, meter gauge Q and R 9 millimeters, sim straight, broad gauge group A and B 6 millimeters, broad gauge C and D 8 millimeters, meter gauge Q 6 millimeters, straight meter gauge R 8 millimeters. 21.2.3 maintaining tracks prescribed standards, thereby in situations in which renewal may be necessary even through the surface life of the net and rail has not been expired due to local factors such as curves are steep, gradings, high speed, heavy axle burn, loads, burning, scabbing wear of the rails following the adverse effect of the track, poor running quality of the track in spite of the extra maintenance labor engaged in the section, disproportionate of the cost of maintenance of the track under safe conditions, poor condition of the rail due to hugging, battering, scabbing, the wheel burn, and other causes such excessive corrugation of the rail in which the maintenance track difficulty, uneconomical effect of the riding quality. 21.2.4 shortened surface life of the rails due to the passenger moving loads, the alternating stress that created with the rail section, the number of the reversals and the stress that directed the wave of the gross million tons born in the rails. Majority of the rail factors originate with the factor fatigue crack that developed the rails born in the gross million tons approved in table 21.4. Rail sections B and broad gauge all the way across are 60 kilo, 60, 60, 52, 52, 90R. You have a UTS 90, 72, 90, 72, 77. Gross million carried of T12 millimeters, 855, 55, 25, 30, 50, 250. Your meter gauge is 75R rail section and 60R rail section. Gross million tons carried on T12 millimeters, 150 million, 125. 21.2.5 Plan-based renewals. Plan-based renewals are planned with the objective of modernizing the track structure to the selected route with the quickest possible time. It may sometimes involve the premature renewal, but the track is also thorough sleep renewal. Thorough sleep renewal should be done with the percentage of the unserviceable sleepers equal to 30% of the trunk grounds of main line, 35% of the branch vary condition warning. The renewal of each type of the sleeper explained in the following. Wooden sleepers become unserviceable only when they are split, broken, burnt, and rounded around or underside with a deeply cut rail seat. They are also considered unserviceable when the spikes are fixed when the rails are those loose with the grip powering, whether the general deterioration of the structure sleepers will hold due insect attack, or etc. Steel sleepers become unserviceable when the excessive corrosion, also with the rail seat and lug cracks, give them away. The life seat of the steel sleeper is reckoned to be about 40-50 years. CI sleeper. The cast iron sleepers become unserviceable when the excessive corrosion of the tie bar rail seat with the sleeper plate breaks to develop the crack of the wind with the wear of the lug of the rail seat excessive, then the sleeper no longer grips the rail firmly, keeps it become loose of the result in the creep of the average of the cast iron sleeper that is 40 to 50 years. Generally, these sleepers can be considerably unserviceable when they're unable to either hold the gauge or retain packaging. The renewal of the worn out fish plate should be considered with the gap between the fishing plane with the rails and fish plates of 1.5 centimeters. 21.4 Execution of the track renewal of the track relaying work. The track renewal and the track relaying works can be done either manually or mechanical means. The work is involved with the following steps: survey section, preliminary works, the actual execution of the track renewal works. Survey section to be relayed by should be surveyed in advance. Survey includes the preparation longitudinal section of the track, including the existing rail with the level at every 100 millimeters, obligatory positions of the level crossing road over bridges, overhead crossing cross section of the to be taken 50 millimeters in station yard and platforms at its site of the foot over the bridge, overhead watering arrangements, etc. 21.4.2 Preliminary works. Preliminary works the minor works undertaken with the prior actual work involved in the track renewal. The works include the following tasks: unloading track materials, ballasting the section, fixing level to center line pegs, arranging traffic blocks. Each of one of the preliminary works briefly discussed here. Unloading track materials. It should be determined that the relative materials are in precise location which they are laid and explained in the following. Rails should be unloaded in pairs with the case for either side of the trunk, either side in the track, a single line section between the two track with the case for the double line section. Sleepers are taken directly to the side of the wagon, unloaded with the section. They are piled in small stacks, subsequently laid in the final location. Alternatively, they are laid end on with respect to future section, future location whenever possible. Fittings. Small fittings are likely to be lost and stolen, therefore they should be unloaded with a depot gang hunt gang huts, gate lodges, etc. to take the site of the with the require the new fish plate with graphite fish bowls, nuts, or oil lubricated before use. Ballast in the section adequate quantity of the ballast to provide with the advance unloaded, preferably the help of the ballast train. Some of the ballast can also be collected with even procured with the success. Avoid the balance deficiency. Ballast should be preferably deep at the screwing in advance. Fixing center line level pegs. Center line and level pegs are properly provided every 50 millimeters. Arranging traffic blocks. The range of the traffic blocks should be finalized with the consultation of the operating department of the joint memorandum. The understanding should be prepared with drawing the exact program traffic blocks. 243. Actual execution of the track renewal works. Preliminary works completed with the actual work of the track renewal can start with the involved the following tasks: setting up the traffic block for 2 to 4 hours and set up order to execute the work of the track relaying, dismantling old track when it's dismantled, remove the fish bowl from the fish plates as well with sleeper plate, passing old rails and sleepers are then removed and stacked on the side of the track opposite with a new material. Deep screening, the ballast should be the deep screen is it was done earlier along with the preliminary works. The ballast should be dressed and properly leveled in accordance with the correct profile. Liking new traffic, the ballast has been laid in keeping the correct level. The sleepers have almost made in correct place, but the rails are linked over them using the proper expansion line with the hacking. The new track is lifted with the correct level of the line packed either manually with the help of the machines. 2144 progress or output. On average renewal of 4/10 of a kilometer with the track achieved at 15 to 30 gains. The 3-4 hour traffic block. Deep screen with the ballast should be however been completed after the relaying of the work. 2145 Rail Dolly. The rail dolly is an equipment used for the quick and easy transportation rail with a consists of the tubular frame with the lifted, fitted with the chain end of the rail clamp. There are 2 double flange wheels with the rail and ball bearings which run on the rails. A leverage handle available to operating with the moving of the rail. The equipment weighing 55 kilograms, extremely useful for the carrying rails and sleeper site. If the work is event with the approaching of the train, the rail was equipment can be cleared off the track in 10 seconds. This shows your rail dolly, the plate, the 25 GI pipe, the 240 milliliter diameter GI pipe, a mechanized relay rail line. Concrete sleepers weigh more than 200 kilograms, therefore unlikely wooden metal sleepers can be handled with easily manual labor. Apart being heavier than concrete steel sleeper, the brittle nature of it is likely to be damaged. Drop them some height with a some height or handle roughly. The further and conventional method of relaying, which employs manual labor, is quite slowly. Quality work done is not always very good. Need a mechanized relaying that has been increasingly felt with all account with the limitation, particularly with the view of large-scale and concrete sleepers in Indian railways. Mechanical relaying can be done by either one of the following methods: semi-mechanized relaying using prefabricated panels, meaning the worker relaying done by the mechanical help of the pressure-quick relaying system. Equipment with other manner works is done manually. Fully mechanized relay with the help of the track relay trains. Alright, 2151 mechanized relaying with the use of prefabricated panels. Indian Railways mechanical relaying is mostly done with the help of the Plusker quick relay system. The equipment is manufactured in Austrian firm, the Messer Plaster Thorough, and factory of the Firmadia, Indian. The equipment is basically consists of 2 self-propelled portable cranes, each capable of lifting 5 to 9 tons. Portable cranes run an auxiliary track within 3 to 4 meter gauge. The track panel consisting of the concrete sleepers rail fitting of the prefabricated base workshop for the relaying of the track. The prefabricated panels used in specified by the BFR type wagons take up the worksite along with the portable cranes. BFR is the classification scheme of the freight wagons of IRB, International Indian Railway. B indicates the bogie wagon. F indicates flat car. R indicates the forced discharge. The old track is dismantled. The new panels are laid with the help of the portable cranes. Fully equipped, the train can call with the pressure quick relay system taken with the consist of the following parts and taken inside the work. Engine coal wagon for recoupling with the coal in the engine. The crew with the rest van with the staff with the stay and rest. Guard compartment with the controlling movement of the train. Mobile workshop come rest van and urgent repairs to be done on the site. Special wagon of the BFR, which was your bogie flat car and rapid discharge load from 2 portable cranes, 2 empty bogie flat car discharge release panels. Semi-mechanized track renewal work is carried out in the following sequence. The auxiliary track of the 3.4 millimeter gauge is first laid in the location where the relaying is done. The rails for existing track are also replaced with 13 millimeter surface rails. Fully equipped train comprising various components loaded with them, prefabricated, taken to the worksite with the setting of the traffic block and the power block, in case electrical section. 3. The portable cranes are then unloaded mechanically on auxiliary track on the 3.4 millimeter gauge. Portable crane utilized to dismantle the 2 panels of the existing track and load them onto the empty bogie flat car relay repercussion train. A ballast bed with a prepared manually levelly up predetermined point. On the return, the portable cranes utilize lift the pre-assembled panel of the control sleeper, the bag and bogie flat car relay with a leveled ballast. The procedure repeated forward trip the portable cranes lift the dismantled panels, place them in the BFFRs, and the return trip of the portable cranes lift them in the pre-assembled panel with the loaded BFFRs laid prepared bed. Okay, so this is your portable crane lifting the concrete steel panels. Alright, 8th, new panel of the concrete using the fishing plate with the fittings on the fastening method of the relaying with a quick independent of the best suit for the Indian conditions possible to achieve the average output of the 200 meter per effective hour of the work of 0.8 kilometers relaying the accomplished in 4-hour block. 21.6 Track renewal train. The Indian railways have been purchased with 2 track renewal trains, the TRTs. The figure 21.5 is modern design, which carry out the track relaying work automatically with minimal manual effort. These trains are P81 model, the manufacturer of the Tamper Corporation of the USA. The cost of the track renewal trains, along with the ancillary units, are about $100 million. Your track relaying train. You have the front-driven bogie, your double chain conveyor, sledge non-driven bogie, a cabin, a power unit drive, and a rear-driven bogie. 21.6 Structure of the track relaying train. The track relaying train is designed to simultaneously continues to perform all the operations involved with replacing the rail and sweep the track carry with the multifarious functions of the remove of the old rails and moving the stacking of the old sleeper, the leveling, compacting ballast bed, placing new sleepers in their proper position, laying the new rails, moving the released rails. The train consists of 3 main units, which describes subsequent paragraph. The main vehicle weighs about 110 tons, has an overall length of about 45 meters, and the further component the following parts: the sleeper handling device that removes the old sleeper to replace them with the new ones, which help the several conveyors. A power vehicle lifted with a rail lifting guidance system and dissecting old rails within the side of the track. The triangular smoothing plow, a compacting plate with prepared for the ballast for the new sleepers. Hand gantry, the train of the hand gantry transportation, old and new sleeper. The gantry weighs about 6.6 tons, has lifting force about 5 kilonewtons, and it can lift about 20 concrete sleepers at a time and travel the maximum speed of 15 kilometers an hour. Alright, this shows your details of main train track renewal train system. Your intermediate storage area, your double chain conveyor, your old sleeper pickup, ball joint, central rail guidance, sleeper laying system, laying frame, set of the box bogie frame, bogie flat car relay. Set of box bogie flat car relay, youth storage, old new sleeper to fit with the interlocking rail track on the handling gantry runs. The renewal can be coupled with the new train, can be reached with a speed up to 100 kilometers an hour. Train can move independently with the help of the hydraulic drive that can be achieved with the maximum speed of 720 miles an hour when in use. Working the track renewal trains says the following steps involve the working of the track renewal trains: removal of the fastenings joined on the old rail sleepers, or remove the head with the commencement of track renewal work. Placement of the new rails, duly welded rails are placed in advance of either beside track, duly welded fish plate with during 1.5 meters of the track. Positioning of the track: the main vehicle is now positioned on the track to be renewed. The design of the machine is such that to help with the guidance sled is possible to acquire the accurate reproduction of the old track layout with the aid of the external guidance. Lifting old rails to the laid old rails are already free 23 with the fastening are lifted and help the railing lifting guns frame with the maintenance for the continuous lifting of the old rails disposited them on the either side of the track. The bells can be simultaneously screened in the necessary with the rails raising the ends of the sleepers. Picking up the old sleepers are picked up and the help of the sleeper pickup system placed upright on the conveyor system. The level completing the ballast bed with the track renewal train system consists of a library plow, compactor plow to level the ballast, ready to accept new sleepers. The plow can be adjusted vertically to remove the ballast, and necessary it can be moved up to 80 millimeters of ballast from below the base of the sleeper and transferred to the shoulders. Thus, smoother track bed is made with the compacted help of the plow and compactor. Laying of the new sleepers. The new sleepers are already stacked in wagons. They are newly automatically placed specified distance with the use of wheel definite diameter. Due to the unique geometry of the mechanism, the system ensures sleepers are laid squarely at the specified distances. Laying of the new rails. New rails, which are already along the track, are lifted and placed in the appropriate position of the sleeper. The equipment is designed so in case the minimum strength of the rails are being lifted. Fixed insulators, elastic rail cups, elastic rails, insulators are fixed to the rails to help with the small mechanical appliance. The items normally carried in separate wagons. Pick up the old rails. The final operation move of the old rails. The impaired of the part of the rail. Pick up the rails are cut in length of 39 millimeters to ensure they are handled properly. The wagons are towed into the utility vehicle containing mobile crane that picks up the old rails and places them into the wagon transportation depot. To the depot. Manufacturing claim the track renewal train can lay 16 sleeper minutes, getting sleepers a minute, given an average output of 300 to 400 miles an hour. The average traffic 300 to 400 meters an hour. Average traffic block of 4 hours per day is expected. The train will give an average output of 200 to 250 kilometers per year. Requirement of the track. It is important that the exact quantity of the track materials are conveyed at the site of the extra materials could get washed short of the material, result in difficulties delaying the carrying of the new renewal work. It is normally desired to have a small spare stock of extra material ready for the unforeseen contingency. The exact quantity of the material required for the 1 kilometer of the track is calculated as given below. Track of the ST sleeper. Track of the 52 kilogram rails. The sleeper, the density M to plus 7. The M is the length of the rails in meters, which is normally 13 meters. The broad gauge, and the calculations is shown as follows. Number of the rails per kilometer, 1,000 over m, or the length of the meters, times 2 equals 1,000 over 13 times 2 is 76.9 times 2, approximately 154. Weight of the rails, 154 times 52 kilograms at 8,008 kilograms, 8,000.8 megatons. Million tons. Number of the sleeper per kilometer. Length of the meters plus 7 total number times the total number of the rails divided by 2. 13 plus 7 times 154 divided by 2 is 1,540. Total number of rails. Each joint requires 4 fish bowls. Number of the fish bowl, 4 number of the rails per kilometer. 4 times 154 is 516. Each joint requires 2 fish plates. The number of the fish plates, 2 times the number of the rails per kilometer. 2 times 154 is 308. 4 key jaws required per sleeper. The number of the keys, 4 times 1,540, 5,160. 4 loose jaws required for the per sleep. The number of the loose jaws, 1,540 with the times 4 is 5,160. Alright, in your track renewals are required every year to keep the track safe with a good running condition. The track and Indian rails require heavy renewal since they are very old and have been used in for a very long time. Track renewals are done to rectify the defective track, rails, fish plate, sleeper. The track renewal train is used in India. The rails for mechanized rail renewal of the track. It can lay up to 16 sleepers per minute and available to give an average output of 200 to 250 kilometers a year. Alright, Chapter 22. Rail Accidents and Disaster Management.